The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter, and stay up to date with the Mike Wagner Show updates on my Facebook page at The Mike Wagner Show. And also feel free to support our program at PayPal as well. We're here with a wonderful author out of Arlington, Virginia. He's got 15 years experience in cybersecurity. He also wrote and produced several independent and short films, and also has some books too called The Girl Behind the Green, Why People Do What They Do, Chasing the Green, The Web Page Chronicles, Smoke in the Afterlife, and has a new book out from Beacon Publishing called Attrition. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plush Studios in Arlington, Virginia, author, poet, screenwriter, playwright, and cybersecurity expert, Emilio Iasiello. Emilio, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to talking to you.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. 15 years experience in cybersecurity. You're also an author, poet, screenwriter, playwright, and more as well, too. You've got several books out there, but we'll talk about Attrition in just a minute. And before we get into all that, tell us how you first got started.
So I got started in writing. I really thank my fourth grade teacher for this. She was very instrumental in promoting creative writing to my class. And to be honest, she got me hooked. And really, from that point, I never looked back. She was very encouraging for all of our writing endeavors. And so as I got older, I took more formal creative writing classes in high school and college, and eventually got my MFA from George Mason University. So she was the catalyst, and I'm very happy that I'm able to send her some published works and to say that I'm here because you pressed me when I was in fourth grade. So she was awesome.
That was amazing too. What was that one moment that precisely influenced you into what you're doing today?
So she said to me that I had a knack for telling a story. And so in the school where I was at, she encouraged me to write. So I was writing serials for the local, for the weekly school paper that would come out on Fridays. And so there would just be 4 weeks and the story would go. And then I really realized that I had something going on there when Monday mornings I had parents come up to me in the parking lot and said, so what's going to happen this week? When are we going to find out? And I'm like, well, you just have to wait till Friday. And then I really realized that, like, wow, storytelling and writing could really touch, not just people my own age at that age, but parents were very excited. So I said to myself, wow, there's really something about this writing, and that's just really, again, propelled me forward and wanting to continue it professionally if I can.
It sounds amazing. You've got a lot of great works. You're a very excitable writer. And who are some of your favorite writers and authors growing up?
So many. So because I do write in kind of several of the disciplines, so I do have like favorite writers in all different categories. So for fiction, I got really hooked on F. Scott Fitzgerald and Hemingway growing up. But thanks to my grandfather, who used to love detective fiction, he introduced me to people like Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett, Nicky Spillane, and totally love those guys as well. And then as I got in high school and stuff, then hey, Jack Kerouac, who doesn't love Kerouac? Got hooked on him. And then as I got into playwriting and stuff, people like Tennessee Williams, Sam Shepard, and certainly from one of my ultimate favorite storytellers of all time, Stephen King. I could listen to that guy tell stories forever. So these people just they sit around my office, kind of hopefully inspire me as I try to do honor to their craft.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about your previous works as well, too. Then we'll talk about Attrition. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. It's powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with author, poet, screenwriter, playwright, and cybersecurity expert Emilio Iasiello here on the Mike Wagner Show with his new book, Attrition, published by Beac Publishing as well, too. And you also have some books called The Girl Behind the Green, Why People Do What They Do, Chasing the Green, The Webpage Chronicles, Smoke in the Afterlife. And tell us about some of those books.
Sure. So I really enjoy writing in all different kind of disciplines in writing. And so all these kind of represent a different one every time. So Why People Do What They Do is my collection of short stories that I wrote. Started that when I was in grad school, and took many years to actually get out of collection. Then the Webpage Chronicles was inspired by my daughter. She's a young 7-year-old girl, and and that is a middle grade fiction to teach kids how to really operate safely on the internet, but done through a fiction story that with characters that they can relate to. The Girl Behind the Glass is my first novel, actual literary fiction novel. So that kind of explores a person's journey who gets his friend's ashes in the mail, and he has to figure out a resting place for them. So it's a kind of a fun journey that way. And then Attrition, which is my latest, and my foray into the thriller mystery genre.
Wow. Mystery thriller. And you say this is your first try at this one, and it's about when a billionaire game manufacturer finds out he's dying from incredible disease. He summons 3 former close friends from college to pile a new murder mystery game his company is developing. And in this genre, it sounds like it's pretty interesting. Tell us more about that, and why mystery thriller for you?
Sure. So one, as a reader of this type of genre fiction, but also like movies in the same type of genre, I love murder mysteries and thrillers, and I really like really good ones. And I think some don't quite hit the mark, but some are really good. And one of the ones that I really enjoy when it comes to mysteries are the one that involve games, and especially if the game is integral to the plot, integral to the solving of the mystery itself. And it's just not just a foil to keep the story going. So I try to do that with Attrition. My interest in this realm really stems from actually growing up. My aunt and I really enjoy doing murder mysteries, and especially those where we had to go away for a weekend. But we'd have to go in character. So literally you played this character from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night. And then, any time in between that, you had to dress a certain way, you had to act a certain way, you had to speak a certain way. And I really thought that was very exciting. And then to me, it's just a natural overlay for a murder mystery, because then you can really play with things like the unreliable narrator or unreliable characters, and who's lying, and who's lying for what reasons, and then again, it just deepens the mystery. So I try to fold all these into Attrition, and hopefully, I think I did a pretty good job, and I hope readers will think of the same way.
Mm-hmm. And made me think of that one movie as well, too, involving billionaires and manufacturers and dying of a disease, and there's all these people. It seems like they're just fighting for control over the fortune. Maybe think of the recent movie Knives Out or something like that, or maybe even Clue. It's almost like a whodunit in a way too, or it's like Agatha Christie and everything else. But it also has an interesting twist to Attrition as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these things, I've always been a big Agatha Christie fan, and Then They Were Known as one of my favorite stories of all time. And yes, so I just really want to pay homage to this genre and to all its masters that came before me on this. And so in constructing the story, I thought, working with games, working with, in this case, the notion of old friends getting together. And a friend of mine asked me, he goes, well, why are the characters, older? They're not like younger characters. They're in their 60s. And I said, well, in this regard, the characters had to be older because, this was a conscientious decision. So that they would show the long shared history between them and really this notion of people being bound by a secret, and really how did that, once that secret is formed, how does this play out in their lives? And some good, some most bad, but they're all rooted together. And I thought this was an interesting way to just kind of overshadow the story, kind of overlay the story with these type of themes of friendship, betrayal, and as they try to compete for the ultimate fortune.
Mm-hmm. And then also, too, you also have some other ones, too. I think we covered, Between a Rock and a Hard Place and Nathaya and Uncommitted. And I think there's also some others we haven't touched base on. You can tell us about those.
Sure. So those are films that I've been fortunate to work with some really smart filmmakers and excellent actors. With regards, so one of the things that I also enjoy doing is being able to write. These aren't big. They're not big studio releases. They're smaller independent films. But I think they really allow a lot more for the storytelling to evolve without the need of CGI or big explosions or action sequences. So a couple of these films touch upon the same things as regards of friendship between characters, betrayal, and really these are the times I think when characters really show who they are. and they really become really interesting. So, for me, a lot of writing is about making sure you know who your characters are really well before writing, because people always ask do you outline extensively? I said no. Outlines to me are a guide, not a blueprint. Because once I know the characters, I want them to take me where the story's going.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, you've been involved in cybersecurity for 15 years. And do you have any short stories that are involved with like cyber threats, intelligence, AI, or Secret Service, or anything like that?
No, not quite yet. I do have a couple of ideas. I usually do most of my cyber writing is my professional writing, so I do a lot of research papers and academic white papers and blogs on that. But I do have I do have a notebook that has some sketches with regards to doing a cyber focused story. Unfortunately, it's just sometimes what was really interesting in that realm. It's tough to translate in like on screen, for instance, or that. It's just when you're coding, it's difficult to make coding exciting. You're just you're hitting a keyboard.
It kind of makes me think of the Matrix as well, too, in a way. So that's what it sounds like.
Yes, exactly.
and of course, you spent 15 years. And tell us how you first got involved with cybersecurity.
Sure. So I was finishing up my MFA at George Mason, but I was going part-time at night, so I was working full-time. And I used to work as a paralegal, and I just couldn't do that anymore. So I got a job as a government contractor, and I was fortunate enough to get in, first of all, as a technical writer for a group that focused on cyber threats. And they would track actor bad guys in cyberspace and what they were doing. And I found that really interesting. And the more I got involved in that, I realized that, with regards to when it comes to a space where you don't necessarily see the bad people face to face, but they're doing things. And it really lends for you to be creative about the fact, like, who are these people? What are they doing? Why are they doing it? And so really push creativity in a way that I didn't think was actually possible in the daytime job. But it did. I liked it. So I stuck with it ever since, and so I always joke around saying I'm able to use both the right side and the left side of my brain, but both for creative purposes. One is for creative writing, but one I'm able to take and to look at the bad guys that work in cyberspace and really lend like kind of a creative look and perspective, and kind of adopt their mindsets and see how I could help network defenders strengthen themselves so these guys will not make as bad an impact as possible.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the current threats that you're experiencing right now in cybersecurity, and what's been the latest as of late when it comes to issues in cybersecurity?
Well, certainly, if you look in the newspaper or in the press, there's always the actors, the state actors that are doing what we call cyber espionage, kind of stealing intellectual property from companies, taking that and using that for a profit or to support their own states. But I think one of the ones that are more universal and that really impact a bigger audience is certainly things like ransomware, which is just the bad guys exploiting your computer, basically locking it all up and forcing you to pay a ransom, or else you won't have access to your information. And certainly in that regards, we've seen them more sophisticated teams going out there. First they start off just hitting like regular people like you and I, but now they've evolved their operations, so they're going to bigger companies or bigger or bigger places, and going for a bigger bang for their buck. So hey, if you can hit up a place that has 100 or 100 million people as data, and you lock it all up, then you can certainly extort for a bigger price point. And then that still impacts John Q. Public. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is really a hot topic right now that I think has applicability again across individuals, companies, governments. I mean, hey, you don't want your healthcare information sewn up somewhere, or you don't want to be in the hospital, especially in this day and age, God forbid, with the pandemic, and then the bad guys locked up with the hospital where you're at and locked up all the information. And so that's just to me that is a very immediate threat to just everybody on the planet, and not just intellectual property or things like that.
Mm-hmm. And we'll also talk about what's coming up as well too. Besides Attrition, you're first to listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with author, poet, screenwriter, playwright, and cybersecurity expert Emilio Iasiello here on the Mike Wagner Show, talking about his latest book, Attrition, published by Beac Publishing. Also talked about the go behind the glass, why people do what they do, chasing the green, and more. Talking about his experience in cybersecurity. And before we wrap things up here, what can we expect from you from 2020 and beyond, Emilio?
I've been working on another thriller about mysteries that happen kind of like in the woods, and this really takes. I used to go to camp as a kid for the summer. My mom kicked me out of the house, got me out of the house, sent me up to camp, for a month or two. And what I thought was awesome, and it goes back to storytelling, is like every Sunday night we sit by the campfire, and before bed they would tell us an amazing ghost story, just constant ghost stories, and again, left an indelible impression in my mind. And I'm like, I want to tell my own version of a ghost story, kind of set, the way this camp was in the woods by a lake, and just, not a slasher, nothing like that, but just a ghost story. I want to tell a ghost story. So that's the current project I'm working on now, and just really calling upon the sensibilities, of a young kid, 10, 11 years old, sitting there experiencing this basic, ghost story where he and his family are vacationing by a lake, and so, to me, just wanted to investigate this approach, just like how kids see fear, how kids interpret fear, and just really play upon those sensibilities. So that's the current project right now that I'm working on, and so far so good. I like it, and hopefully that will be a good follow-up for Attrition.
And when can we expect the release?
Hopefully, God willing, the creek don't rise. Hopefully, not more than 9 to 12 months. But hey, we shall see. But right now, I just got the first draft done, and kind of, working on the second draft now. So things that way are going well, and then once that's done, hopefully it'll find a home, and it'll go out there soon.
Sounds great. And we're here with author, poet, screenwriter, playwright, and cybersecurity expert Emilio Iasiello here on the Mike Wagner Show, and a couple more things here. We'd love to have back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. You've been great. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Really, the biggest one I would say is just really is the passion to read and the willingness to write. People have asked me, like, what's it take to be a writer? And I'm like, well, it just takes you to want to write. That's the thing. And to me, reading and writing go hand in hand. So it's I would find it difficult for someone to say they're a writer without ever reading any material, whether it's in the genre they're working in or just in just words in general. So for my biggest things that got me here is just reading, being able to be touched by what I've read, and then saying to myself, I want to do likewise, and seeing if I can write something that will touch someone else. Mm-hmm. That's been the biggest inspiration.
That's amazing too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Read, write. And to me, I think the best suggestion I ever gotten, and I stand by this, is writing is rewriting. Hey, getting the first draft down is a testament. It's wonderful, but that's just when the work begins, because you have to rewrite. No one writes down the first draft perfectly. So, just once you get it all down, just know that you're gonna have to go back and rewrite it, fine tune, improve areas that and if you wrote it, you'll know which areas need help. You know where to boost it up. But yeah, writing is rewriting. But I got to tell you, at the end of the day, there's no finer achievement to say that you've created words on like 250, 300 pages, 400 pages. You've done something that very few people can say they've done, and that in and of itself is an accomplishment.
Even Stephen King doesn't get it right in his first draft. Can you believe that?
Exactly. And to me, I'm like, I would love that guy to just to offer up a weekend with him in a camp somewhere and just him tell ghost stories every night. I would pay a lot of money just to do that. I think that'd be wonderful.
And driving Christine as well too in The Shining.
Absolutely.
There you go. So once again, author Emilio Iasiello of Attrition here on the Mike Wagner Show. Emilio, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people purchase your books? And especially about the latest Attrition from Beac Publishing.
Sure. So all my books are accessible via Amazon.com. I do have a web page, which is just Emilio Iasiello, my name.com. And those books are also available there via link. So those are the two places that I hang out the most. So please stop by and please purchase it. And please definitely do, whoever does, write a review. No bad reviews. I like all feedback, and it's good to know that people read, but they also they have something to say. And if it's if it's got some criticism, that's fine. Just all that just says, I appreciate the purchase. I appreciate the reading, and thoughtful responses are always welcome.
I'll give you one word for my review. Excellent.
Say it again.
I'll give you my review on it, although I haven't read it. Excellent.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem. Once again, Emilio, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back on 2020 and beyond. And keep us up to date. You've been fantastic.
Thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful experience. I appreciate it.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.